All right, Liam, everyone listening, it's time for Pucks and Brews. We got playoff predictions. We had a season full of pain, agony, and misery. We had a new goal scoring record set by Alex Ovechkin, and we had a bunch of bullshit, as per usual. But this is going to be a fun one. We got playoff predictions coming up soon, but first and foremost, uh, it's been a little bit. Liam, how you doing?
Doing well, Shades. It's great to be back with you, and I'm excited to talk some playoff hockey. Our beloved New York Rangers will not be taking part this year, but hey, maybe that takes the pressure off of our shoulders. We could sit back, relax, and enjoy a bunch of seven-game series displaying the greatest game on earth. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, I will admit, last time the Rangers missed the playoffs, watching the playoffs was actually kind of fun. Not having to stress out 24/7.
Yep, and not looking forward to potential agony that will inevitably hit you.
Yeah, but I have something that might help with that.
What do you have? A Dunkin' cold brew.
A Dunkin' cold brew. Not
Oh,
sponsored Dunkin' cold brew, but a Dunkin' fucking cold brew, baby.
that's how you know we're host and co-host, Just finish your sentences. I know what you were pulling up. It's a Dunkin' cold brew all the way.
Goddamn right it is.
Ain't no
And
doubt
oh,
about
I
it.
needed this so badly. Oh, this is so good. Ah,
Heavy sugar today? No.
I mean, I had a small coffee earlier this morning just because I didn't get much sleep. Needed it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you should have seen me the other day. I was like dragging for the first like 2 hours. Then I got a cup of coffee. As soon as the caffeine hit my lips, I instantly felt better. And I'm just like, great, I'm a coffee dependent 28-year-old who is addicted to this crap now.
I guess it's better to be addicted to coffee than anything else. There are worse things to be addicted to.
Oh, there are much worse things to be addicted to. I mean, I'm also kind of addicted to ginger ale, but yeah, two
Again,
vices.
again, much much worse things. Maybe diet ginger ale? I like diet ginger ale.
I like the regular one more.
Okay. I haven't really tried regular ginger ale, but
Oh, it's
I
pretty good. I mean, don't get me wrong, there is like quite a lot of sugar in it, but it's just so good.
gotta
I would like to see you do a taste test, like side by side, Dr. Pepper and ginger ale.
consider it done. Next
All right.
episode. We'll do it.
Okay.
You
I'm
know,
holding you to that.
blind taste test.
Holding
So,
you to that. Because I know
okay.
you've tried Dr. Pepper before and we've had this conversation.
Oh, I have had Dr. Pepper, yes. You don't think I'm going to be able to decipher the difference?
I think you'll be able to tell the difference. I've never had Dr. Pepper, but I believe I would be able to tell the difference also.
We'll see. I look forward to it.
Oh, yeah,
I
we
hope you.
already went into left field with this one. I love it. But all right, we got playoff predictions, and we got to talk about Ovi first. All right, dude, he did it. He fucking did it.
Didn't I mention it on Pucks and Brews a few episodes ago that it could line up to where Ovechkin could break it against the Islanders? And well, wouldn't you know it, he heads to UBS Arena and he breaks it. Shades, I'll talk a little bit. Can you, in the meantime, pull up the goal so everybody can watch it and share your screen? Because Ovi
Oh boy.
atop the left circle received the pass, and of course he scored from right above the dot. And Kenny Albert with the call. Shades take it away with goal number 895 in the career of Alexander Ovechkin that broke the Great One's record.
I'm kind of letting you down right now because I had to sign out and sign back in
Well, I can
on.
continue. I can continue to stall. Keep.
Also, this is just a this is just a question for me. If I do play the NHL's video on YouTube, am I going to get a copyright strike on this?
Um, Maybe you could just play the call. You might get a copyright strike on that too.
Ah,
Okay, all right, all right.
all
How about
right.
for
Yeah,
anybody
okay. So
listening,
sorry to
watching?
tease everyone, but I am not taking that chance.
He took the puck at the left circle and
Oh yeah.
he fired it home. And then he dove in a Superman style like celebration to center ice at UBS Arena. They stopped the game, went through a whole ceremony. What a moment! Had no doubts that he was going to reach that mark, and well deserved.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I knew when you brought it up last episode that I probably should get a ticket and take off from work that day because the night before tickets went up to about $1,000 for that game. And that immediately crossed off take off from work and go to the game on my to-do list, which was unfortunate. But god damn, he actually did it, man.
Yeah, he did it. I think he has 45 goals this season, as we're speaking right now. That's just another outstanding year for Ovi. And to have Wayne Gretzky there to shake his hand and congratulate him, just like it was done to him when he broke the scoring record the first time. Um, it's just amazing stuff. Great for the game, and happy that Ovi was able to do it. Again, amidst a really special season for his team.
Oh yeah.
So not just for the player, but for the club as well. And that's what you love to see in this game.
And even the night he tied Gretzky, like, dude, he was this close to breaking it. Like, I put the game on after he scored the tying goal, and I'm just like sitting on the edge of my seat. Then he gets the breakaway, and I literally like am standing up, going like, "Oh my God!" And then he doesn't get a shot off. Typical. Yeah, he like you said in the group chat, he became a Ranger for a second.
Just for a second, and he had a chance at the empty net goal, I believe, in that game, and he elected not to take it. Didn't want to score the record-breaking goal that way. And hey, the one that he did put into the back of the net, we're not able to show you, yes, but go and watch it on the NHL's YouTube. Great call by Kenny Albert too.
Oh yeah. And this is all the more impressive because he literally missed 5 weeks with a broken freaking leg and still finished the season with 44 goals and broke Wayne Gretzky's all-time goal record. Is he 41 now or 40?
I think he's 41 now.
This guy just keeps getting more impressive with each fucking thing that's coming out of our mouths. It's fantastic.
Sorry, Ovechkin is 39. Uh,
39. Sorry.
he will turn 40 here in September. Yeah, 73 points in 65 games. And that comes after a year where he had 65 points in 79 games. And before that, he had 75 points in 73 games. So, there was definitely an argument that maybe he was on the downhill of his career, but now he just bounces back with a season like he just had. More goals in a season since the 21-22 year where he put home 50. So, he's not slowing down. He said to the media when asked about his potential final meeting with Sidney Crosby, he flat out said, "I'm not retiring." Um, this is a top three player in hockey history, and he's not three. So, like, when you really look at it, greatest goal scorer of all time, and I talk about this in the NBA sense with LeBron James versus Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan, more championships, unbelievable player. But for me, what I look for is I look at longevity. How long have you been doing it at the highest level? And Alex Ovechkin, like LeBron James, has been the best goal scorer in the game since he got drafted in 2004, 2005. So just amazing. Just amazing. Just the fact that we night in and night out get to watch this guy and saw him break a record through our lifetime that many thought when Wayne said it, nobody was ever going to break. I mean, it's a once in a lifetime type thing. And I must add this on top of that. 1 year in the KHL, 2012, 2013, amidst his NHL career. Outside of that, he has played for the same organization every single season.
And we also have to bring up the fact that his rookie season got delayed by a year because of the 04-05 lockout. He had two COVID shortened seasons. He had another lockout shortened season, not a full season lost, and he still broke the record before age 40.
And in Alex Ovechkin's rookie year in 05-06, he produced the fourth most points he produced in a single season in his entire career with 106. In his first year, he had 52 goals in his first year. I mean, what else can you say, Shades? Just what else can you say? I think the
Uh,
NHL really did well with this one, and they needed to knock it out of the park, and they did. Everything from the goal to the call to the celebration to the break in the action to the ceremony to the handshake from Wayne to the passing of the torch. It was very well done.
and guess who was on the one of the calls?
Who was that?
Kenny Albert.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, Kenny made the call. Yeah.
Yeah, hey, we
There
got
you
a
go.
Rangers connection there. I like this.
Yeah. Happened at UBS. And just the last thing I'll say, just the mutual showing of respect between everybody in the crowd rooting for a different team and everybody on the Islanders too. I mean, that's what makes this game the greatest.
Oh yeah, and just to show how special of a person Ovechkin is, even before this, when they played the Wild, he literally got the team to come out of the locker room and basically have a handshake line for Marc-Andre Fleury, who was one of his biggest rivals because he was on the Penguins for a long time.
Yeah, just uh just
Yep.
all
Yep.
class, and yeah, I mean, I think I couldn't say it any better than you just did. I mean, Marc-Andre Fleury and Alexander Ovechkin are two players that had so many battles. And like as great as Alexander Ovechkin was and still is, especially during those years, the Penguins, they were unstoppable. And when you had two teams with two star players, I would argue four star players, Ovechkin, Malkin, Crosby, and Fleury, just battle against each other year after year. Fucking awesome.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that Ovi doesn't let his team in the year 2025 go to the locker room and not shake that man's hand. I mean, Ovi's doing a lot of good for the game.
Oh
He
yeah.
really, and I hope he reaches 1,000 goals because it is legitimately attainable.
Hey, he's still got 1 year left on his current contract. I mean, there's been speculation, but that's a story for another day. But the next big milestone is 900, and he's going to reach that early next season.
Yep, he will.
So we got one more milestone to look for. And with each passing goal, he is resetting the all-time record, which is pretty damn cool.
Yes.
All right. We got to get into playoff predictions now. And since we were just talking about Ovi, we're going to get right into it. Capitals versus the Montreal Canadiens. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your Pucks and Brews 2024-2025 NHL Stanley Cup playoff predictions. Here we go. All right, Liam, who you got?
Oh, you're hitting me first, eh?
I'm hitting you first, baby.
All right, well, let's take a look at this matchup, right? You have a very young team in Montreal. It's making the playoffs for the first time in a number of years. Washington, again, like we just touched on, special year for Ovechkin. The goaltending has been fantastic. The coaching, really excellent. I think Montreal will give them a fight, but I think Washington will win, and I think Washington will win in 6 games.
Yeah, I'm also on the side of Washington winning. And hey, I got to give the Canadians credit as much as I dislike them after the 2014 and 2017 playoff series we played against them. But Marty St. Louis, head coach, Jeff Gordon, president of hockey operations, they're doing a fine job over there. And it pains me to say that because we had those two at one point, especially Jeff Gordon. But that's a rant for later in the episode. They are doing a fine job over there. They got a very good crop of young players, but I don't want to say Washington is going to go on a Cinderella run, but I think with the way that the brackets are set up, I have a feeling that they can make a deep run. So, with that being said, you have Washington's pretty much out of nowhere first place finish in the division, second in the league. Ovechkin breaking the goal record. I don't think they're done. And I just think from top to bottom, with the way they've surprised this season, they're just a very solid team on the ice. And that is going to propel them past the Canadians. I will be bold and say in five.
Okay, there you go. I mean,
Why?
here's the thing
Why
with
not?
Washington, right? Like they are. You could argue another relatively inexperienced team. I mean, outside of a couple of key guys, right, with Ovechkin and with Wilson, but they're young. They were going towards a little bit of a retool. So, a lot of these guys, first playoff run, but I think that Washington has the enough experience again to take down a Montreal team that is super young. I like Sam Montembeault. Again, he emerged as Montreal's number one goaltender this year. He had 31 wins in between the pipes. Goals against average under three, save percentage over 900. Of course, not easy, to take over in the net for Carey Price, who has not played in a couple of years here. Washington, Charlie Lindgren, Logan Thompson. It's going to be too much. Their experience, their depth, their firepower, their goaltending. Spencer Carberry is outstanding. Um, 50 wins in this league, winning the Eastern Conference in the regular season, nothing to scoff at. So, although I like Montreal's team and they are an up and coming group, like you said, love the head coach, love the general manager even more. I think that Washington will take them out.
Yep, absolutely. All right, second series. Here we go. Finishing off the Metro Division. Carolina Hurricanes, a team you do not like very much, versus the New Jersey Devils, another team we don't like very much for very different reasons. I'll start off with this one, I guess. So the Devils are battling a lot of injuries. They did lose Jack Hughes. I believe are still missing Dougie Hamilton. They're a little bit banged up beyond that. Carolina, while I don't think they have the strongest team, and they did lose a lot of firepower from last year, uh, with the way they play and the way they're coached, I think just from top to bottom, I think they have enough to get by the Devils. Uh, I don't think it's going to be a walkover, though. I could see this going 6 or 7, and I'll go Carolina in 6.
Yeah, I have the same winner in the series. Like you said, the Devils dealing with so many injuries, from Jack Hughes to Dougie Hamilton. Luckily, their goaltending has been good with Jacob Markstrom and Jake Allen. Um, Jonas Siegenthaler also out for the Devils too. But for Carolina, I mean, year after year, I mean, they have so much depth. I mean, I love the coaching in Rod Brind'Amour. They haven't gotten over the hump. Shades, I'm going to be a little bit bold with this one. I think the Hurricanes sweep the Devils. Easy. Easy first round win. I don't really see the Devils putting up much of a fight in this one. The Hurricanes have the most wins on home ice this season than they've had since they've won the Stanley Cup in 2005, 2006. That's 31 wins at the Lenovo Center. I'm going to go even further and say that the Carolina Hurricanes are going to win the Stanley Cup this year. So I'll just put that out there right now. They're going to win the cup.
Okay, that's bold. That is bold. I'm picking 6 games because I don't trust their goaltending to get them through in a
They have
sweep.
to they have to choose one of Pyotr Kochetkov or Frederick Anderson, no doubt about it. But real quick, Shades, give me a couple minutes to just go through this lineup. This lineup is going to bulldoze through the play. I really believe it. This is their year. No Rangers to knock them out anymore. Seth Jarvis, Sebastian Aho, Jackson Blake. Jackson Blake is 20 years old. He's been unbelievable. Andrei Svechnikov, Jesperi Kotkaniemi, and Taylor Hall. Kotkaniemi, disappointing. I get it. Svechnikov, still trying to find his game. Taylor Hall, that's a big piece on the right wing. Somebody who came in there in that deal, that they made earlier in the season, and has made a big impact. Third line, love Martinuk. Jordan Stahl wins faceoffs all over the place. Logan Stankoven is a hustler. They did not get ample value back for Mikko Rantanen, but if they needed a player that is going to help them win this year, they got one in Logan Stankoven. Carrier, I love. Jankowski, most underrated player in the league, I would argue. Eric Robinson on the right side, physical, fourth line, grinder. Slavin, nobody better defensively than him. Brent Burns has aged like fine wine. Dmitry Orlov, we know how good he was in Washington. He had a couple of down years, but he's doing really well alongside Jalen Chatfield. Sean Walker, you bring in the offseason. Shane Gostisbehere is a power play piece. If they can figure out the goaltending, there is no team that has a better coach, and there is no team that has a better top nine than the Carolina Hurricanes in this year's playoffs. The goaltending just has to stand up, but Shades, I'm going to say it here right now, and if I'm wrong, screen record it and post it all over the YouTube channel for Pucks and Brews. The Carolina Hurricanes, at worst, are going to make the Stanley Cup final this year. At worst.
You should not have
And if
said
they
that to
get
me.
and if they get knocked in the first round by the Devils, roast me. Roast me. But I really genuinely think New Jersey has no chance.
You do realize as soon as New Jersey, as the Devils hypothetically win this series, I will literally come back to the editing of this episode and I am posting Liam makes a clown of himself on the YouTube channel.
You can. I'm
You
just
shouldn't have said that.
I'm just a fan of the Carolina Hurricanes. Not that I'm not a fan of the New Jersey Devils. Devils are a great team. But when you're without your number one D and when you're without your number one center, that's really tough to bounce back from. And again, you're going up against a Hurricanes team that you do not have home ice advantage against, and the Hurricanes have won more games on home ice than they did, or the same time, the same amount of wins that they had the last time that they won the Stanley Cup. So for me, this is Rod Brindamore's year to put up a successful playoff run. And I believe in him, and I think it's going to happen. And nothing against the Devils at all. I know I'm a Ranger fan, but again, I have ample dislike for each of these teams. Trust me. Carolina roasted the hell out of us when they found out we didn't make the playoffs on social media, and that one hurt. But just for the Devils, they're just too injured right now. And I would be really, really shades surprised if the Devils pushed this series to more than 5 games.
The
If
only
it
reason
goes,
I'm
if it
giving him
goes six,
six,
I'll be really.
like I said, I trust Jacob Markstrom more than either guy that Carolina's going to put in between the pipes. So,
I agree there. I agree there. But I
also, we
think
didn't even touch upon all the injuries. Jesper Bratt's a little banged up. Hischier, Kovacevic, Palat, Pesci, and Siegenthaler. They're all banged up with Siegenthaler being a week to week, the rest of the guys being day to day. But that's a lot of injuries to be dealing with to key players.
yeah, their projected lineup right now does have Bratt, Hamilton, Kovacevic in, but you got to wonder um, how locked in they're going to be, how healthy they're going to be once the puck drops. Nothing against the Devils, but I really, really like Carolina this year. I do.
Yeah,
East is wide open, baby. It's open.
the East is open a little bit. I agree with that. The West is more wide open, but we'll get back to that. All right, on to the Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Ottawa Senators. I'm gonna throw it to you. We're gonna
Yeah.
alternate here for each round. Throwing it back to you. Who you got?
This one's really tough. I mean, it's nice to see Ottawa back in the playoffs.
Kind
You
of
know,
is.
good year this year, and nice to see Brady Tkachuk finally playing in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yes.
Um, it's really tough. Toronto had 51 wins this year, but Ottawa had a solid season as well. And it kind of reminds me of what you were talking about with the Hurricanes and the Devils, in that you think that the Hurricanes are going to win the series, but you like the Devils goaltending more. Here, I think that Toronto is going to win the series, but I like Ottawa's goaltending more. I trust Linus Ullmark more than I do Joseph Wall or Anthony Stolarz. And Stolarz, great year. 2.21 goals against average. Joseph Woll, great year as well. But Olmark has been here before with Boston. I think it's going to be a long series. I think it's going to be a hard-fought series. I think it's going to go 7 games. But I think Toronto's going to win.
Yeah, I got Toronto as well. And you remember how we always used to clown Toronto every year? They're never gonna win. They're never gonna win. They're never gonna win. And then the year that seemingly everything was going against them was the year I picked them to win the first round series and they won.
Mhm.
Well, this year I think they just have a lot of things going for them. And remember last time that they played the Bruins in the playoffs, we noticed the change in the way that they were playing. Granted, they did lose in game seven overtime, but you made a very keen observation. They were playing to win and not playing to not lose.
Mhm.
You saw the shift in that series from years past.
There's a killer instinct in this Toronto team now that they haven't had. Specifically, if you just want to call it out, under Sheldon Keefe. And now they have Craig Berube as the head coach, somebody who has won a Stanley Cup with St. Louis in 2019. He knows how to win. He knows what it takes. So again, I think Toronto is probably I think they have a tough test in Ottawa. I think Ottawa is a team that's ready to make a mark in the playoffs. I think Brady Tkachuk does not want to go down easy. I think finally Ottawa has pretty good goaltending. They have a nice mix of veteran and young players again, something that they really haven't had in the last almost 10 years. Um, but Toronto has the best player in the series, and Toronto is going to win the series 6 or 7. But for me, I'm gonna take it being more competitive than not. So I'll take Toronto in 7.
Take Toronto in seven too. I don't know. Look, as good as the Maple Leafs are, they never make anything easy in the playoffs. So
I could see it being like I know we'll really go into it here. I could see it being like a 3-1 Toronto series lead, and then Ottawa wins two games, and then Ottawa, and then Toronto. Everyone's thinking it's game seven. They're gonna blow it. They're gonna blow a 3-1 series lead, and then they just dog roll them 6-0, and
see,
then just go on to the second round.
this is one of those series. It would surprise me if Toronto lost, but it wouldn't shock me,
It would be extremely disappointing, I think, after last year.
which kind of fits in. It goes right on par with them.
It does. Fair enough, to be honest.
Sorry, Maple Leafs. Your team did this to themselves.
But for me, the biggest difference, Craig Berube. Craig
Hmm.
Berube. Coaching matters. We know that. We watched the Rangers for 82 games this year. Um,
Yeah, well, you watched them for 82 games. I had to skip a lot from work, thank God. I would have lost my damn mind. But all right, Toronto Maple Leafs, we both got them in seven. On to the next. We got the Florida Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning to round off the Eastern Conference in in my opinion is the most interesting first round matchup in the East because you have the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers and the team that they are facing who won two Stanley Cups earlier this decade in the Tampa Bay Lightning. Five straight Stanley Cup final appearances between the two teams. And I'll go first. I got Tampa winning this series.
mm,
Panthers are another team that's pretty injured. I really like what the Lightning did at the trade deadline. You got Brandon Hagel having an excellent season. They still got Point. They still got Kucherov. Vasilevsky's on fire. With two deep playoff runs from the Panthers, Kachuk not playing. I don't know, man. All the signs are pointing to Tampa for me. And I'm going to say in six, although I wouldn't be shocked if this ended in five. So I got Tampa in six. Who you got?
Fourth time the Panthers and Lightning are meeting in the postseason. Tampa won the first two matchups, and last year the Panthers got their active revenge, winning the first round series in what was it, 5 games, 6 games last season,
And
uh,
overall going on to win the cup.
and overall going on to win the cup. They are injured right now. A lot of changes to the roster. Aaron Ekblad, probably the biggest due to his PED suspension. Brad Marchand brought in. Sergei Bobrovsky having a good year, not a great year. I have Tampa Bay winning this series as well. Um, I think they have the best goaltender. I think they have, I think it's a wash when you're talking about who's the better coach between not Jake Maurice, Paul Maurice. Jake's his son. Paul Maurice and John Cooper, but I think Cooper just with his championship pedigree and again knowing how to get the most out of his players. Another Art Ross Trophy victory for Nikita Kucherov this season with north of 125 points. Absolutely amazing stuff. Of course, Matthew Tkachuk, like you mentioned, shades a question mark in this series. Um, I have Tampa Bay winning it. I have Tampa Bay winning it in 7 games. I think it's going to go to the distance. But I think Tampa Bay, now that they're a well-rested team with all of that playoff experience behind them, a solid regular season, I think that they will win a close, very close first round matchup against the Panthers.
You know how you said Carolina was your pick to come out of the East? Well, Tampa's mine.
All right, there you go. Are you going to allow yourself to be clowned if you're wrong like me?
Sure,
Can we clown you?
sure.
All right, all right. Well, okay, so one of us is
So
getting
we're gonna
clowned.
hold each other accountable here. I mean, there is a possibility we're both right and nothing happens. So
I say this, Shades, if the is it possible for the Panthers and the Canes or Lightning and the Canes to make the conference final? It is, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so if the Lightning and the Canes make the conference final, I say we just call it a wash.
Well,
We
I
both
mean, it's gonna be a
won it.
wash if they both win their first round series.
Right, right. That's correct. So do you have it being a long series, short series,
6 games. Six
6 games?
games. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I just have that feeling Tampa's gonna pull this one out.
I do too. And again, maybe if Matthew Tkachuk was healthier, maybe it would be a little bit of a different mindset going into the postseason. Tampa Bay finished 4 points ahead of the Panthers overall this season. They were 2-2 against one another in the season series. No Steven Stamkos, for Tampa Bay, so that hurts the power play a little bit. But
Or does
Kucherov,
it?
not too bad, or does it? Yeah, that's a
I
good.
mean, they do have Jake Gensel, so
Right, yeah. They do have Jake Gensel now, who is a little bit of a different producer on the power play, but still able to get things done, especially in the net front. Here's the projected lineup, just real quick, for Tampa Bay. And this is why I have them moving on. Yanni Gord, they bring him back. He's skating alongside Braden Point and Nikita Kucherov right now. I don't think that there's a better first line than that in the playoffs, but we can get to it. Hagel, Sorelli, and Gensel. I mean, come on.
that's just not fair.
Paul and Geeky, Gergensons and Glendening, Victor Hedman, we know how good he is, JJ Moser, physical D man, Ryan McDonough, Mishia, Eric Chernak, same thing. And of course, Andre Vasilevsky is Vasilevsky. They're without Oliver Bjorkstrand right now, but if he can come back during the postseason, all that makes Tampa Bay's offense all the more dangerous. And for me, the Panthers, I don't really know if the Marchand edition really did it for me. I don't really know how much I love that defense. Look at the bottom four right now. Nico Mikkola, Dmitry Kulikov, who both were very good during the Panthers Cup winning run last year. But Uvis Balinskis and Nate Schmidt, your third pairing, and Sergei Bobrovsky in net, and Vitek Vanacek backing them up. Aaron Ekblad being suspended is huge here.
Yeah, he's his first eligible game in the series is game three. So,
Okay. Okay, he's eligible for game three. I think that matters though. You
oh,
know,
absolutely. That 100% played a factor in my decision.
because Tampa Bay, they're going to have home ice advantage here, and if the Panthers are going to be without their top defenseman, this could be pretty clear roadway for the Lightning to take a 2-0 series lead going down to South Florida. Which, remember, in years past when these two teams have played against each other in the playoffs, Tampa Bay has done quite well in Sunrise. So it's going to be a fun series, a really fun series. But I think Tampa Bay right now is the team more primed to move ahead to the next round.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Florida's defense on paper. I don't love them by any stretch of the imagination.
I don't love it as much as I loved it last year.
Oh,
And
last year was just not fair.
yeah, last year it was a cheat code sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Wait to watch this series. It's going to be one of those series shades, you touched on at the beginning of the podcast, just being able to sit back, relax, not have to worry about the Rangers and just watch some fun hockey. This series for me is a great example of that. I mean, there are going to be some stars on each side. So it's going to be
Oh,
awesome.
yeah, and these are two physical teams, and there is nothing better than watching two physical teams in an NHL playoff series.
And they do not like each other either.
No, no, they do not, which makes it even better.
Right. I'm a little worried, small, very, very small worry about Tampa Bay kind of limping into the playoffs here. I know last game of the season, you lose 4-0 to the Rangers, but just putting that out there, you do like to be playing better hockey going into the postseason. So that's the only thing that gets me. But last game of the year, playing on the road, I guess you chalk it
I
up.
mean,
But
you could say that about a few teams in the East. I mean, the Capitals kind of lumped into the playoffs. Then again, they had nothing to play for.
right,
Everybody fighting for the two wild card spots basically lumped into the playoffs. Ottawa didn't really separate themselves from the rest of the pack until there was three games left. Montreal, again, they were the list of teams that were struggling to make the second wild card.
right.
Hey, all I'm going to say is 2012 LA Kings. It's
I think
happened once, it can happen
yeah,
again.
there's something to be said about a team that's coming in young and hungry and ready to go. And even though I just, in the latter or in the previous 30 minutes praised Washington for their season and their head coach and everything like that, I think that factor of having a Montreal team, yeah, and like you said, like Rangers kind of shot themselves in the foot, and all their other contenders that they were going up against kind of shot themselves in the foot. But hey, give a little bit of credit to Montreal. Young team, really
Yeah.
tough season last year. Marty St. Louis, somebody who had never even come close to coaching, and has made something in Montreal. So I think I just want to go back to that series real quick. Slim chance. I'm just saying. If we come back next episode in round two and Montreal beats Washington, I think there's a path there. I think there's a path there.
there is something I forgot to
Small
mention
pack.
about that series. The last time those two did face each other in the playoffs, Washington was the 1 seed, Montreal was the 8 seed. Montreal upset them.
Was that 2010? No, with
I
Yaroslav
believe
Halak
so.
in net for Washington. But yes, great point to bring up, and that's exactly why I brought that back. So,
Wouldn't
oh, I
again.
can't wait.
I would be extremely surprised, but I wouldn't be shocked.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right, that's enough talk about the East. Let's go on to the wide open West. All right. I don't even know where to begin with this one. So I'm just going to start from at least, with the Stanley Cup playoff bracket on the app. I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up. We got the Los Angeles Kings against the Edmonton Oilers. The Edmonton Oilers, fresh off a Stanley Cup final appearance. I took the head or the lead this one, or last one. I'm going to give the lead to you on this one. Who do you got, Liam?
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. That fire from the Edmonton Oilers that they had last year on their way to the Stanley Cup final, I don't see it anymore. I don't see it. And I think the LA Kings are coming, baby. I love them at the beginning of the season. And you look at this team. You win by good defense and strength down the middle. And Anze Kopitar, come on, 37 years old, doesn't matter. 67 points this season. Quinton Byfield, the guy who's going to take over for Anze Kopitar as that number one center, a coming out party this year as well. Warren Fogle was the biggest free agent signing, in my opinion, this past offseason. And where did he go? He went from Edmonton to LA. And in LA, he is a plus 36. 46 points, 24 goals. Excuse my dogs. The goaltending. I was a little bit critical of Darcy Kemper and the acquisition that Los Angeles made during the offseason. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure on each side with Dubois going to Washington and with Kemper going to LA. And man, they've proven me wrong. Both players have been awesome. On the other side, for Edmonton, Stuart Skinner hasn't been great. Um, of course, LA has to keep McDavid and Draisaitl in check if they want to win this series. But for me, Edmonton from last year to this year, not even close to the same team. They lost a ton of speed. They lost Broberg. They lost Holloway in the offseason. You lose Fogle in the offseason as well. They have the best two players in the series, but for me, that's all they have. And I think LA is going to win it in I will put respect on Edmonton's name because they just went to the Stanley Cup final and say it'll be a 6-game series, but I wouldn't be stunned if it was a 5-game series. I view this very much like how I view Carolina and New Jersey, in that the winner of the series is going to go to the Cup final. So there you go. But we'll get there. I think the Kings bringing in Andrei Kuzmenko at the deadline, money. Money. We brushed it over as a move that was kind of like, Kuzmenko moving on to another team. He's on that first line right now. Vladislav Gavrikov, my number one priority for our New York Rangers in the offseason. Number one defenseman alongside Drew Doughty. I love LA. I love LA. I'm not giving enough credit to McDavid, Hyman, and Draisaitl, but there's really not a lot that excites me about that team. Look at the defense right now. Darnell Nurse and Evan Bouchard. Okay. Jake Wallman and Troy Stetcher. I like Wallman. Brett Kulak and Ty Emberson. Calvin Pickard, your starting goaltender. Stuart Skinner's had a down year. Your bottom six, Yanmar, Kapanen, and Perry. Okay. Skinner, Henrique, and Brown. Is there enough depth there? You have Podkolzin skating alongside Draisaitl and Arvidsson. LA wins the series. Six
Yeah,
games.
we're in lockstep so far. I'm going LA in five because
Okay.
we didn't even really bring up as much as we should have the injuries that Edmonton's dealing with, another team that's banged up.
Yeah.
LTIR, they got Evander Kane, John Klingberg, and Matthias Ekholm out. I mean,
Yeah.
Ekholm, that's a big loss for them because honestly, he was a lot more important of a pickup than a lot of people are willing to admit for them. But Wallman's banged up, Stetcher's banged up, Hyman's banged up, Draisaitl's banged up, even Trent Frederick. I mean, that's a lot of injuries to be dealing with, and some of those are key players. And yeah, I mean, you're right. They don't have the fire from last year. LA has been playing very good hockey. Edmonton, I don't want to say they slumped into the playoffs, but like they're a team that's good enough to make it, but they're just not showing any signs of a deep run.
Yeah, I'll go back to those injuries, what you touched on there, Shades, right? At home. That's devastating. Evander Kane, somebody who we knew was going to be out long term at the start of the year. But yeah, but they're dealing with injuries. This is LA's year to pounce on Edmonton. And I think there will be a lot of disappointment in the NHL if Edmonton wins this series. Because a lot of people, including myself, have been waiting a couple of years now for the Kings to make that step, and this is their time.
Yeah,
And what that is a wide open Western Conference that I agree with.
wide open.
So
There really is no clear-cut favorite, but this is what the fourth time in the last couple seasons that these two teams have met in the first round.
seems like they're meeting as much as Tampa Bay and Florida is.
Yeah, and I believe I've gotten the first three right, and I'm hoping I'm right the fourth time in a row now. Hoping.
But yeah, LA in six for me. LA in five for you.
LA in five for me. All right, on to the Vegas Golden Knights and the Minnesota Wild. I'll take reins over here. So, Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, they won the cup 2 years ago. Minnesota dealing with a couple injuries right now because I know Kaprizov was out for a while.
He is listed
And
as healthy on NHL.com, but just projected for game one. But
yeah,
you never know.
yeah. Now, granted, don't get me wrong, the Wild have had a very, very good season,
Mhm.
but I was texting my friend Mike the other day, and we were talking, and okay, I mean, don't get me wrong, Vegas is a little banged up, but we were speaking, him and I just have this gut feeling that Vegas is a shoo-in for a Western Conference final spot.
You're going Vegas?
I'm going Vegas, and I don't know, dude, Minnesota has surprised me the last couple seasons, so I'll go in seven.
Yeah, for me, Shades, this is going to be a lot of fun. And it's one of those series that I would really like to pick the underdog. Of course, with this being Marc-Andre Fleury's last playoff run here, but Kaprizov is healthy. Matt Boldy, good to go. I like Rossi, Nyquist. They bring in Brazo at the deadline, a little bit of punch. The defense is good with Faber and Middleton. Gustafson, I'm a really big fan of in the net. I think he's got a great future. But with that said, Vegas is just deep. They
Yeah.
are just really deep. They are very good on the power play. And of course, we know how much the man advantage means come playoff time because, at even strength, things are going to lock up. Um, it's tough. It's really tough. Vegas gets Riley Smith back. He's been a nice add alongside William Karlsson and Brett Howden. I don't want to go with my heart above my head here, so I'm going to go with Vegas, and I think they're gonna win it in 5 games over Minnesota.
All right, so you got him in five, I got him in seven. Now, remember, we were talking the other day, because I popped the question in the group chat, if you guys had to pick any team that was gonna, you know, cause an upset in the first round, you were leaning towards saying Minnesota out of the four wild card teams.
Yeah, yeah, that's correct. But again, I just feel like I cannot, at this particular point, discount the experience that the Golden Knights have. I mean, they're looking to win their second Stanley Cup in their last 3 seasons here. So Vegas has been spectacular. I really, really like Minnesota's team. I didn't think John Hines was going to lead them to this good of a year.
Yeah,
Uh,
same.
and I guess in hindsight, maybe the Rangers needed John Hines when nobody wanted him. And anyway, we can go back to that. But hey, good on the coach for leading Minnesota here. I do think that they are capable of an upset, but I just think Vegas is too much. I could see it being one of these 5 game series that a majority of them are 1 goal games, but just Vegas, just the way they played even strength, the way that they operate on the power play, the way that they're coached, with Bruce Cassidy. I think they're going to win this series. But I would love to see an upset. I'd be very happy to see it. But I can't bring myself to predict it.
Yeah, same. Hey, Aiden Hill did lead them to a Stanley Cup 2 years ago, and he's their starter. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
it's hard to go against the team that's won that's still extremely strong on paper.
100%. 100%.
All right, so I mean, damn, we're in lockstep so far, 6-6. I'm still waiting on Brendan to send his playoff predictions, but while we do that, we got to talk about the Colorado Avalanche and the Dallas Stars. Now, I am looking forward to this series, probably more than any other series in the first round. These teams, oh baby, oh man. You remember at the beginning of last season when I was like pounding the table on how good Dallas's lineup was, right?
Hmm.
2022, Colorado wins the Stanley Cup. And in my opinion, this is their best team since that year. But Dallas, man, I mean, you add Mikko Rantanen, you got a whole bunch of things, whole bunch of young pieces. Wyatt Johnston had a career year. Everything about these two teams just screams this is going to be a great series.
And I got to predict first, don't I?
Yes, yes, you do. But I will make a prediction first saying that this series goes 7 games.
Hmm.
I will leave my winner until after you. Who do you got?
I mean, this one is it's as back and forth as it can possibly get, right? Tyler Seguin coming back from injury for Dallas, Stars in their last game, lose Jason Robertson, who did not return. That's scary. The goaltending for Colorado, they're relying on Mackenzie Blackwood, who, albeit has 250 plus games of NHL experience, has not played one in the Stanley Cup playoffs. On the other side is Jake Ottinger, who might be top five goaltender in the entire NHL. Martin Necas comes over from Carolina in a trade earlier this season to Colorado and has absolutely lit it up. Carolina sends Mikko Rantanen to Dallas, and since he has gotten to Dallas, I believe it's 18 points in 20 games for Rantanen. So he has stayed right where he was with Colorado, despite not having McKinnon next to him. It is so close, brother. And I also have it going 7 games. But for me, simply put, the two best players in this series belong to the same team. And the Colorado Avalanche are winning this in 7 games. Cal McCarr and Nathan McKinnon are the best two players in the series. That's just simple. And with Jason Robertson going down and Tyler Seguin coming back, I don't know what he's going to be. I love Jake Ottinger, don't get me wrong, but I think Mackenzie Blackwood is good enough. And when you look at this Avalanche team, Lehkonen, McKinnon, Necas, Drouin, Nelson, Nichushkin, Kiviranta, Coyle, who's done it with Boston, Colton, who's done it with Tampa Bay, Kelly, Drury, Logan O'Connor, Devontae's, Cale Makar, Josh Manson, Sam Girard, Eric Johnson, Sam Malinsky. Their only issue is their goaltending. It's going to go the distance. And at the end of the day, I'll say what I said before. The two best players in the series belong to the same team. And the best coach is on the Avs. So the Avs are winning the series.
Hey, I'm just putting it out there. The last time Colorado won the cup, they had an unproven goalie in Darcy Kemper,
Yep. And now he's a proven one. How
and
about
now
that?
he's a proven one. Vegas Golden Knights, we just talked about them. They had a very unproven goalie in Aiden Hill, wins them a
Yep.
cup. You don't need to have a top three goalie on paper to win a cup. It's actually quite the opposite, actually. Most teams with a top three goalie don't usually win, which is
Yeah, man.
sad. But I cannot believe we're in lockstep 7 for 7 so far. I highly thought there was going to be at least one or two differences by this point.
Maybe we'll differ here in this next series, but so you're going
Maybe.
with Colorado in 7.
I'm going with Colorado in 7, and we didn't even mention Miro Heiskanen's on LTIR. That's going to impact Dallas on the back end also.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I this is a very, very good team. And since we've done this so far, Colorado's my pick to come out of the West.
Hmm. LA is my pick
Although
to move up.
wouldn't surprise me if the winner of this series goes on to win the whole thing.
Hmm. It's going to be a fight to the end.
Oh yeah. And I am looking forward to it, at least on the nights that I am home and not working. There's going to be a bunch that I am, and I'm going to be mad about it. But oh well, I need money. All right. The last one. Number eight, top of the Western Conference, the Winnipeg Jets versus the St. Louis Blues. I gotta be honest with you. I was kind of hoping that St. Louis was going to play Vegas. I don't really know why, mainly because I kind of wanted a little more uncertainty for two playoff series. But hey, this is what we got. Winnipeg and St. Louis. Winnipeg coming off their first ever President's Trophy winning season. St. Louis Blues got hot down the stretch, red hot down the stretch to claim the number eight spot, aka wild card two in the West. Don't get me wrong, I love both of the. I really, really like both of these teams, and I think this is going to be yet another battle. As much as I would love to say the Jets are gonna implode in the first round again, I got them winning this series.
Hmm.
But I think they lose in the second round. I really liked their deadline. I gotta be honest with you. I really did. I mean, obviously, they did make a bunch of good moves, but who did they acquire at the deadline again? I know they got Brandon Tanev. They just, I'm not gonna even bring up the Pionk contract because that's to be determined. But they brought in Brandon Tanev. They brought in Luke Shen. Brought in, Chris Driedger for goaltending depth. They already had a very good team, and I just think that they added just enough in the locker room. But wouldn't this series would not surprise me if St. Louis won. What are your thoughts? Are we differing?
This is such an interesting series.
Dude, the West is wide open. This is going to be great.
I we are not differing. I am having the Winnipeg Jets win this series. I am going to take them to win it in 7 games. St. Louis went 19-4-3 out of the break, and they were just unstoppable going into the playoffs. Jim Montgomery, love him as a head coach. What a pickup. Really a pickup that I wish the Rangers had gotten their hands on when Boston had let him go. But he had completely turned around this Blues roster. No hotter player in the NHL right now than Robert Thomas. Uh, but here's the one stat for me. And what made this so hard was that Nikolai Ehlers, Gabe Vilardi, and Rasmus Kupari all injured for Winnipeg. Those are three really big pieces. And yeah, St. Louis is losing Dylan Holloway, but that was a player that they didn't have last year. The stat for me that made the difference. The penalty kill for the St. Louis Blues, 74.2%. The power play for the Winnipeg Jets, the best in the NHL, 28.9%. Playoffs is all about special teams. And if you cannot keep the puck out of your net, you are not going to win. I think the Blues are going to make this very close. But the better team is the Winnipeg Jets, and the Jets are going to move on. I don't think they're going to make it past 2 rounds, but I think Winnipeg will win this one, and they will not completely implode, like you said, against a team that they were 20 points better than in the regular season. So,
Now, don't get me wrong. I do think they implode at some point, but I don't think it's against the Blues.
right.
And I don't even know if implode is the right word. I just don't think they're the strongest team on paper.
That's fair, especially without Ehlers. It's tough.
Oh yeah. Honestly, dude, just looking over like the rosters and the defense, I don't really love either defense core, but across the two teams, who's the best defenseman? It's Josh Morrissey, and he's on Winnipeg.
Yeah, yeah. Goes back to what we were saying with Colorado. Um, yeah, I think St. Louis just has the better Tough to say the better coach, but I just think they have more of the momentum right now going into the playoffs. But I don't think that's enough when you're going against a team that's really head over heels better than you. So
Yeah, pretty much. I seriously, I did not think we were going to be 8-8 together. I swear to God, I thought you were going to pick an upset, and or at least we were going to differ once in each conference at least. But that's not what happened.
yeah, no, we were lockstep with one another. Not a lot of upsets here. I don't believe we chose one upset, did we?
No,
Uh, no, didn't. Um,
I was kind of surprised to learn that Tampa was the favorite in the series, and I'm just like, what do I know that Vegas did?
right, right.
I'm actually, as we're doing this right now, I'm checking the betting odds for each series. Carolina is the favorite. We picked them. Colorado's the favorite. We picked them. Oilers are the favorite by a very slim margin. That is kind of surprising. Oilers are minus 115, Kings are minus 105. That's interesting. Okay, Panthers just became the favorite again. What the fuck is going on? That's another minus 115 to minus 105. Maple Leafs are the favorite. Vegas, favorite. Washington, favorite. Winnipeg, favorite. Huh. That scares me. That that scares me. Okay, so we're getting one or two wrong confirmed.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
That terrifies me. But uh, all right. Well, I mean, it's going to be a very, very fun 2 months. Uh, good luck to most teams. Just because I picked the teams to win doesn't mean I'm exactly rooting for them, but good luck to most teams.
Yeah.
And everybody enjoy some playoff hockey. With that being said, we are a Rangers podcast after all, so I will just warn everybody right now. The playoff predictions portion of the podcast is over with, and we will now begin our usual Rangers rant. And we have a lot to say because it was a season full of pain, agony, misery, frustration, and just overall bullshit. So, with that being said, I would love to throw the floor to you, Liam. You can start with whatever topic you want because we have a couple things to choose from.
Yeah, I feel like we should start with just with the season as a whole. Disappointing year, for sure. A season after you win the President's Trophy to come out like that and to be not really in games most nights, despite having one of the better rosters in the NHL on paper. There really wasn't done. There really wasn't much done to try and save the season, outside of trading for JT Miller. Um, just a really disappointing year, and it really capped off in a disappointing way. And I'll bring it up and I'll say my notes on it real quick here, and then Shades, give me a rundown on your thoughts of the season, please, as well. Artemi Panarin yesterday, Sam Rosen's first last game ever, The Athletic, puts out an article about Panarin, saying that he settled alongside MSG Networks with a former employee, after a sexual assault allegation, back in December of 2023 when the Rangers were on a road trip. Don't want to go too much into the specifics of it, just didn't want to go through the episode without mentioning it at all, until everything comes out. I guess we'll leave the specifics out of it, but what the Athletic did report, was not good. And the fact that this happened in December of 2023, and really we had heard nothing about it, until right now, right before the final game of the regular season, after perhaps one of the most disappointing, if not the most disappointing season in the franchise's history. Um, it was not brought to light when it happened, by the individual who was the victim in this crime. Um, and I believe, and I want to make sure I get this right, but they had departed the organization due to a separate incident. Not really a notable incident, but she had brought up what happened with Panarin as a part of that. Um, and now it's come to the light. So really disappointing. I mean, Shades, I'm sure you'll touch on it in a bit, but number 10 is one of my favorite players ever since he signed here, even before he signed here. So to hear that is really disappointing. To hear Panarin not really have any comments for it after the game last night is not really a surprise, but it's still disappointing. Disappointing as well that Panarin even played in the game. It's a meaningless game. Um, I don't know. I don't know. This situation I don't really feel good with, and I think Chris Drury already had to make some drastic changes this offseason. That's unless James Dolan doesn't make a drastic one for him. But I think right now, Shades, we're in a all things considered, with what the season held, with how veteran players played throughout the entire season, with the way the GM has handled the roster, with the way the head coach had handled a difficult season after one of the greatest seasons in the franchise's history, with what has happened with Panarin, this team in under 12 months has gone from a team that was top five among all NHL teams to go and win a Stanley Cup to now I think the best option is to just blow it all up. Now, I'm not saying not compete, but I'm saying just, you know, I don't know how you'd feel winning a Stanley Cup with Panarin now. Like, and again, if everything comes out to be true, I mean, you know, like, like fuck, like it's disappointing. But I hope Artemi and everybody in the Rangers organization gets some clarity. But the bottom line is something has to be done this
Yeah.
offseason. James Dolan has to step up and make something happen. I think at this point, Shades, it's bigger than Drury. What do you think?
Yeah, just to touch on the allegations for a second. Well, one, there was a settlement, like that happened. So something did happen. Not, none of us were there, so we can't say exactly. But I do, like, we all heard about the incident, but we just didn't know what it was. Because you remember the whole thing when it, like, initially came out, there was an incident with the social media team, and they're not allowed to travel with the players anymore. Yeah, they were being extremely hush-hush about it. Now we know why. But if it does turn out to be true, he does have to go. If it turns out to not be true, uh, not a good look by the employee. But there was another thing involving her separate incident, which I think you brought up, which I won't go in depth on. But the organization and the team itself is in deep shit right now. Like you said, you were nice about it. I'm throwing it out there. They're in deep shit. And you're muted. Hey, you
I
pulled a
mentioned,
me.
I did. I mentioned this, in our group chat, with me, you, and Brendan. We're still waiting on Brendan's picks, by the way. We're not going to let him get away with that.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, he's
Even if we
taking
put a
forever.
slideshow up at the end or whatever. No, but I just said, working in the ECHL, working in professional hockey, I just don't really see why a content creator would come with an NHL team. And maybe, okay, I could see why they would come, and I would see that why they would want to grab content, to provide for social media and that stuff, and why the team would bring them out. But for them to have any interaction with the players after the 60-minute hockey game is completed is ridiculous. The fact that
Well, okay, well,
staff
if it's
members of
at
the
the
players.
actual arena, that's different, but it wasn't.
It wasn't. It
Yeah,
wasn't.
it
Right.
wasn't.
Right. Right. I agree there. Yes, unless it's in the locker room. Obviously. But this was some sort of hangout space. The girl felt uncomfortable. She left, went back to her room, or no, Artemi took her phone. She went back to pursue her phone, and then what happened from there. But Shades, the biggest thing that you said is that they settled, and the fact that they settled means that, well, at least MSG Network and or Panera knows that there is some sort of guilt going towards Artemi's way. And there's still a lot more to unpack here, but the organization is a complete shit show right now. We need it to turn around.
Funny thing is, it was a shit show before this came out, and this just further amplified things.
Bigger shit show.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a nice way of putting it. But yeah, shit's got to change. That's all I'm going to say on this. That's what I'll end it on.
Has to change.
Yep.
No tolerance.
All right. Well, we just talked about, the Panarin thing, and well, I mean, we have a lot of thoughts to get off of our chest just about the team in general for the course of the season. We touched upon it in the last couple minutes, but let's expand further, shall we?
Let's do it, Shades.
Okay, so first and foremost, you said it. Team goes from President's Trophy winners last year to missing the playoffs, where everything went wrong. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were signs of this last year, but this season really everything rose to the surface. Things were too hard to ignore, and who knows, maybe this is the kick in the ass that this team and more importantly ownership needed to make changes.
Yeah, there were never not many bright spots on this team, if at all. For
Not
me, the
really.
only one I would say is Will Cooley, who had a breakout year.
Yeah.
45-point season, 20 goals, plus 12, when everybody else in that forward group was a minus, by the way. Sam Carrick and Johnny Brodzinski, the only other pluses. So that tells you
All you need
all
to know.
to know there. Mika Zibanejad, a minus 22. JT Miller, 70 points, solid season after being acquired during the year, and at least he's not a rental, and at least we can keep him around and build around him. And he's somebody that actually started as a New York Ranger, was drafted as a Ranger, and wants to be here, which is nice because I don't think that there are many players that I could say that about. Panarin, his future is in limbo at best, like we talked about. Again, Zibanejad, terrible year. How many power play goals did he have? Seven. Seven power play goals this year. Artemi Panarin had more power play goals than Zibanejad did, and he barely hit the 20 goal mark. He had 18 goals entering last night's game, 2 goal night in a meaningless contest. Adam Fox, 61 points in 74 games. He's a plus nine. People are telling me, or I'm hearing it, that he's having a down year. Maybe not the play of a number one defenseman. Trocheck still scored 26 goals, had 25 goals last year, but his points production went way down.
Yeah.
Lafreniere signs the extension, 45 points in 82 games. Terrible. Kreider, 8 assists. You get 22 goals out of him, but 30 points, not good enough. Miller, 27 points from the back end, but defensively just atrocious. Carrick, your best forward many nights. Brodzinski, same thing. Parsonen, just a new Kako. Sakanainen, +8 signed to an extension, but did he deserve that extension? I thought, like I gave Drury the benefit of the doubt at the time, but he really struggled towards the end of the year. Borgen, okay, good addition, but still got a massive extension. How's that going to work out? Susie, you probably don't bring back. Jones is pissed off with the team. Berard didn't get playing time. Edstrom gets hurt. Rempe organization doesn't know what to do with him. Dahan says that this organization is a fucking joke. Kaliev comes here after a waiver pickup and gets hurt. Kaliev had 4 points in 14 games. Abe Kubel, acquired at the deadline, played nothing.
Yeah.
Ruedel, what the fuck? Chad Ruedel. Like, why
I,
did we bring this guy in?
I've been
Why?
saying this for a
I like
year and a half
Ruedel.
now.
Chad, I like you. But why did we bring you in if we're not going to play you? Connor Mackey, same thing. And Shades, I have 2 more points to make. Three more. Both goaltenders. Igor Shesterkin, 2.86 goals against average. Solid year. 905 save percentage. Things were really not that great in front of him. He signs the massive extension. I'm not really that worried about Igor. Quick signs an extension. I don't know how you got Quick to sign an extension here after everything that's fucking gone on. And Shade's the biggest misstep for me among everything that happened here. Maybe outside of the Panarin stuff, because that's
Can
just
I make a prediction here before you say it?
otherworldly. Yeah, go for it.
The Kako trade?
No,
Oh,
wasting a year of Gabe Perreault's ELC for fucking no reason.
yeah.
No reason. No reason, Shades. Just shaved a year off in a lost season to have
The
him play, what was it, 3, 4 games and get scratched the final couple games of the year?
the only positive I can see coming out of that is he hits his end of rookie contract year a year earlier, and we can sign him for cheaper. That's the only silver lining I could think of with that.
Shades, the head coach should have been let go mid-season to try and save the year. It did not happen. The general manager, you've given a lot of criticism to, and given the benefit of the doubt to. I think it's time to put some criticism on Drury's plate. This has been very poorly managed over the last couple of seasons. And Shades, I'll really bring you back to what you said earlier in the episode. And we talked about the Montreal Canadiens and how they're going into a first round matchup, making the playoffs, taking on the Capitals. And you said Jeff Gordon. Yeah. Jeff Gordon. He had his failures in his first round draft picks, don't get me wrong. I
Yeah,
think Krapstov was one of them, but he was building something here.
yeah.
He was doing something here. And now we let him go to Montreal because we didn't want Drury to go to Pittsburgh. Remember, Pittsburgh was interviewing Drury to become the general manager, and we're like, nope, nope, can't do it.
Hmm.
And then we just decided to tell Gordon to fuck off after Wilson did that shit at the end of the year a couple of years ago, and now Drury has taken over, and it has just been an unmitigated disaster ever since then. The
I
only
would
leadership that this team had, Shades, was
I
Barkley and Jacob Trouba, and they're gone.
I would just like to bring something up in the middle of this. Uh, a lot of people, give Gorton criticism if, but I would like to point this out. Drury decided to run with the team that Gorton built. Two, I mean, albeit two miraculous conference final appearances, because they, in my opinion, did not deserve to be in either one of them, looking back. What was the point of running with Gorton's team with Drury if he was just going to wait until everything crumpled apart to start making changes? Because that's really what happened.
I guess he didn't want to overcorrect.
And well, look what happened.
I would argue they had a better team the first time they went to the Eastern Conference Final than the one they did last year. Um,
I
I
think
think
it's
last.
kind of close. I think it's a lot closer than people want to admit because their 5-on-5 play was roughly the same.
Yeah, yeah. I just think
And also, you had Igor's Vesna season the first time. So,
right. I just think last year we just didn't deserve to. I mean, Kreider goes on that miraculous run in Carolina. I think we get bounced out by them. If that doesn't happen. And Florida really shut us up real quick. But this season has been massively disappointing. I don't
yeah.
even I don't even know what's the first thing I would do if I was the GM.
So, I mean, this all goes back to really last summer. I mean, you just brought up the two guys, Goodrow and Truba. One,
Yeah.
Goodrow gets placed on waivers because they were probably going to have to attach an asset to trade him just to get him off the team because that contract turned, I mean, don't get me wrong, had a good playoff run last year, but that contract turned out to be a little bit of a disaster. Truba didn't like the contract at the time, but it made sense because they were bringing in a number one defenseman off a strong Winnipeg team, and things just got progressively worse with him. I honestly thought he got a lot of unwarranted criticism his first 2 years, but it's just been a slow and steady decline since then. I don't really know what happened with Adam Fox, and he wasn't the same under Laviolette as he was under Gallant and Quinn, which this is kind of strange, but I feel like a lot of the younger players looked like they were ascending and had actual potential under Quinn. They kind of stagnated with Gallant and then they just went backwards under Laviolette,
Hmm.
which looking back, not the right coaching hires, if we're being
Not
honest.
No, I mean, Adam Fox, I mean, he had 61 points this year, 10 goals, but he had not gone under 72 points either of his previous three seasons before this one. I mentioned that he was a +9, but last year he went from a +21 to a +9 this year. So I definitely think that there is substance to what you're talking about his game not being where it needs to be under Laviolette compared to where it was after under Quinn and or Gallant as well. So a head coaching change really needs to be made. That's at the top of my list.
I
Just
mean,
need a new. That's how I see it.
I will
Nothing.
say Yeah, yeah. I will say, like Quinn did need to go, but the one thing you have to give him credit for, especially over the course of the last three coaching staffs, he held the players accountable more combined, more so on his own than Gallant and Laviolette combined.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah, which is, yeah, I mean, I thought that's what we were getting when we hired Laviolette. We got the complete opposite.
Well, you look at Laviolette, right, and his history of head coaching before he joined the Rangers. He coached the Washington Capitals before Spencer Carberry took over. He had 36 wins, 36-15-0 in the shortened 2020 season. Had a great year the next year, lost in round one, but then suddenly, 3 years ago, out of the playoffs, 35-37-0. And Washington did not waste any time. They fired him immediately. And look at them now, 116 points. They just won Metro.
Well, I mean, I don't think anybody really saw the Capitals getting the first seed this year in the division.
But it just goes to show you what a head coaching change can do and
Yeah,
going for a younger coach instead of recycling the
yeah.
same old cast
I
of
mean,
characters.
they also were going through a transition period, and I think a lot of folks around the league expected them to miss the playoffs for a year or two.
Right.
So, I mean, that wasn't, but it was time for a coaching change there. And I even remember you saying when they brought Laviolette in that you thought he did a better job with the team than they should have when he was there. So,
Yeah. I thought Aviat did well. I mean, a 44 win season. But again, that one season where they really struggled, and I just think it says a lot, after two really good years for Washington to see one down season and say goodbye, sayonara. But I'm happy to get rid of Laviolette after this season and move on to somebody else, somebody younger.
I'm ready to do the same with GM at this point too, because I mean, hey, I've been saying this in the group chat. I've been saying this in, on the podcast over the course of the last 3 years. His off-season moves are gonna what came back to bite him every single year.
Yep.
Every single year, he tried to make band-aid fixes at the deadline, and nothing would get solved heading into the off-season ever. I mean, it was a recipe for disaster with the way he was running things.
The only good thing that happened here is that we have some years of JT Miller to enjoy.
Yep.
That top six is going to change a lot, this offseason. Kreider, Zibanejad, unclear what their future holds. So
Yeah, I mean, hey, they have some good young players now, at least at forward, but the defense, not only on the roster and but also in Hartford and just the minor leagues and the unsigned prospects and all that in general is just a disaster.
that's the trouble you get yourself into when you move on from Mancini.
Yeah, that one, there's a lot of a lot of the moves he's made made sense for the time, but long term, they were not good pieces, not good trades. I mean, come on. Let's look at some of the. I don't have anything up in front of me, but the first year, he brings in Frank Vetrano, brings in, a couple other pieces, Andrew Kopp. He gave up a lot for Andrew Kopp. They had no intention of re-signing him. Like,
Mhm.
you can't give up that much for a one player rental. And that was a career year for him. He goes to Detroit, signs a reasonable deal, but again, you just let him walk for nothing. You basically gave up a first, second round pick plus. Vetrano trade was good. You only gave up a fourth round pick, but you let him walk. Next year, I mean, you trade for Tyler Mott 2 years in a row, a very good bottom six piece. You let him walk 2 years in a row. Trade for Ruedel, stash him in the minors. Trade for Aube Kubel, stash him in the minors. Trade for Brandstrom, stash him in the minors. What are we doing here?
Yeah, for me, the fatal blow was not re-signing Vetrano. And I was actually with Drury and not re-signing Vetrano, but 60-point season last year, 37 goals with Anaheim. Of course, he's playing top 6 minutes, and he probably wouldn't have scored 37 goals with the Rangers, but he probably would have had a nice coming out party, and would have been nice to have on that power play somebody who has a heck of a shot. Worked really well with Kreider and Zibanejad, one of the few players outside of Buchnevich that has been able to find chemistry with those two at 5-on-5, and
I'm
just.
surprised I've gone this long without bringing that up, to be honest.
And yeah, so that one stings. And the Buchnevich trade too, but that
That's still a hole on the roster. Still, it's been 4 years,
You thought Kako was gonna fill it. Yeah, he
and
did.
they end up trading him,
Yep.
which is coming back to bite them in the ass a little bit
Yeah.
already.
Kako's having a nice year.
Yeah, I mean, look, if I'm Dolan, I you have to move on from Jury. It's like the team is in shambles, the prospect pool, all the good young prospects are on the roster, so you kind of got nothing left in the pipeline unless they, put Perot in Hartford next year. But like, where do they go from here?
I don't know. I have no idea.
You brought this up. John Cooper, I think you sent it in the group chat. John Cooper said a couple years back when they played the Rangers in the conference final, this is a young and up and coming team. Fast forward 3 years, this team doesn't look like they're going to make the playoffs next year for the second straight year, at least at this current moment in time.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. Hey, look, don't get me wrong. Drury has made a couple of good value moves. He got way more back for Truba and Lindgren than I thought he was going to. But okay, the Heedle trade I understand because of the injury history. You brought us JT Miller. Okay, I can understand that one. Kako though, the second he gets traded, he looks like a completely different player, and the Borgen extension is already looking questionable. You didn't move on from Truba, over the summer. It came out, that trade didn't go down because somebody on Detroit's end didn't waive their no move clause. Can't blame Truba for that one. But the fact that Truba's wife gets lambasted over the course of that whole saga, that was the start of everything that this entire management team needed to go.
Yep.
His play became a problem. Lindgren's play became a problem. The signs were all there last year. I said this already. Waited too long to make changes, and it thoroughly came back to bite them in the ass.
Yep.
I mean, he's not he's reactive to stuff happening. He doesn't try to get in front of anything. And the last time he did try to get in front of anything, he traded away Buchnevich for Sammy Blais in a second, and we lost both of those fucking trades badly.
Horribly.
I like the Trocheck signing. It's a player we needed, but he does have to have a little bit of a bounce back year last year. Loved Will Cooley, like you said. They really look like they have something in Brett Berard, hopefully in Gabe Perreault. Othman looks like a real player. Changes need to be made on the top line, though. I mean, you can't keep running Zibanejad and Kreider out there. It's proven the last 2 years. It's not working. They're done. You gotta make changes here.
Right, right. Got to do something. Drastic moves need to be made. General manager, head coach,
Entire coaching staff. Well, yeah.
coaching staff, social media team, top line left winger. Everybody needs to go.
Yeah.
Star goaltender making $11.5 million. I mean, Sam Rosen, what a career ends like that. At least he got a win in this final game.
Yeah. Yeah.
A nothing win for 40 years for Sam.
Hey, at least he got to call a championship. So
Yeah, he did.
we unfortunately were not born yet.
Yes.
Yeah, but no, I'm happy. I feel happy for Sam Rosen. I unfortunately did not get to watch the game because of work, but been a major part of watching Rangers games. Love hearing him call power play goals. Just a lot of great moments over the years, man.
Yeah, Sam was a big reason why I wanted to go into this profession, and it's not easy doing that night in and night out. And I can tell you, it's emotional. I got emotional leaving after 2.5 years. I can only imagine how Sam felt after 40. So he's done such a great job. Kenny will take over now, and
Yep.
well-deserved recognition from all around the NHL for Sam. And just want to note too that I thought it was really cool that Mika Zibanejad gifted Sam Rosen his stick from his 5-goal game
Hmm,
autographed, saying thank you. So
that's cool.
gave it to him last night before the game. So that was a cool little note from Mika there. So
Yeah, happy retirement to Sam Rosen. Hopefully he makes another appearance at the U.S. Open and I get a chance to see him this time. We'll see.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he does sit with one of my friends when he goes usually. So I need to,
Get up there, say hello.
I will try. He didn't, my friend didn't say anything until after he left last time. I was like, what the fuck? But no, happy for him. It was cool that he got to do a reunion with JD, couple games left in the season. So I unfortunately didn't get to watch that game either because of work. So yeah, this has not been a good year.
It has not. Let's get to October.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I'm looking forward to the playoffs first, but before we end, we need to go back to the Zibanejad for a second. So you saw his comments.
I did, yes.
Yeah. He knows what his contract says. He's invested a lot of years here. That doesn't mean you're getting a pardon for playing like crap.
Right.
I mean, what? Honestly, he's been on a little bit of a downward spiral since COVID, and it was pretty obvious then. Then he gets the extension, which wasn't really warranted at the time and has just continued to look worse. There's that. You brought up Calvin DeHaan's comments. You know, he basically said, why did they trade for me if they're not going to play me? He was a useful piece. They played Carson Soucy over him. I'm going back to this because this cannot go unsaid. Like he needs to go. Like it's clear he doesn't have a plan for half the players he trades for.
Yep. Zibanejad, I mean, 62 points this year. He's been going down year by year. Signed that extension, $8.5 million. I still believe in Mika, but he definitely does need a bounce back year next year, and he needs to do it without Chris Kreider most likely, and that's going to be it's going to be easier said than done. I think Zibanejad has a spot on this team. I think he is a power play producer. I think he's good on the penalty kill. I think he's good at even strength. I think he is a veteran that again actually wants to be a New York Ranger, not hampered too much by what's going on around them, whether that be the head coach or, outside influences. We've seen him have success here before. I personally would not move on from him, although I have a pretty good suspicion that Drury's top priorities are going to be getting rid of Kreider and Zibanejad this offseason. So
One of them has to go this offseason.
I think it'll be Kreider.
I
I
think
think.
he's the more movable option. I mean, if we barely touched upon him, he just looks like he flat out quit 2 years ago.
It's been disappointing from Kreids, but I mean, still a star as a Ranger, I'd say. Still a very good Ranger. And he deserves his flowers, like Brendan said. 52 goal season, man. 52 goals, 36 goals, 39 goals. And I know he had a really, really bad year this year. I get it.
Extremely
Uh,
bad.
but again, homegrown talent. Number 19 overall pick in 2009. Like, drafted him before he even played a college game. Like, probably the best deflector in the league's history outside of Joe Pavelski right there with him. Um,
Can I bring up a hot take right now?
he's been a Ranger for 11 seasons. Yeah, go for it.
I thought he actually played better the season before his 50 goal season than during his actual 50 goal season.
So you thought he was better when he had 30 points in 50 games than when he had
Kind
52?
of. I mean, he played like it. His 50 goal season, when he wasn't in front of the net, he was literally the most useless player in the league.
If you're scoring 52 goals, you're still
And,
scoring.
and yeah, and then what happens the
Good
following
playoff.
2 years or 3 years? No, never even comes close to it again.
16 points in 20 playoff games that year, 9 points in 7 playoff games the next year, and 12 points in 16 playoff games. That's a good player, man. I mean, maybe is he engaged 100% shift in and shift out? No.
Clearly,
Um,
no.
but I don't think that you'll find many players that are engaged shift in and shift out.
I
You
mean,
know, if you have one guy that's good at doing one thing, why not? You
and
know,
he's gotten away from that portion of his game, which
this
makes
year,
it all the more infuriating.
this year he definitely did.
Yeah, like
But
I don't
again,
get it.
He wasn't doing what he does best this year. Because again, even if you're not that influential 5-on-5, but you're still in front of the net tipping pucks home, you're valuable to me. Sorry, you just are. That's why I find Rempe valuable. Like, big body in front of the net, go and cause havoc. I think Rempe actually has like legitimate skill, which
There's
is
something there.
there's skill there. Like, you know, he needs to fine tune some things without a doubt, but there is skill, and with Kreids, I hope that wasn't his final game as a Ranger, but I really do think that it was. I think it was. I think Fox would be the captain next year if I had to make my prediction.
I have another hot take. I think after how this season transpired, don't name a captain next year.
Oh God, I actually disagree. I'm on the opposite wavelength.
I would probably go
What happened?
JT Miller over anybody, if I'm being honest.
I could see Miller, yeah, but you need a leader in this locker room. You need somebody who's going to step up and cut the bullshit. Like after
Honestly,
what's
I
happened,
think Miller is that guy.
like yeah, you
That's
know,
just me.
I hate to bring back the Panarin situation, but like maybe if JT Miller's the captain, maybe he says we just lost a fucking 6-2 game in fucking Ottawa. We're going back and we're getting dinner and we're going back and we're getting our curfew and we're waking up the next day and we're going to play better. And we're not going to go out, we're not going to party, and we're not going to have drinks with interns. Did the Rangers have a captain at that point? They had troops, right?
Yeah.
So um still, I just think a lot of that unmitigated bullshit would be cut down if you had an actual leader in the room. I like Miller as a choice, I do, but I think with Fox being locked up long term, and you know, again, homegrown, not homegrown Ranger, but I guess started his pro career here.
I
Like
mean,
I think
yeah,
both are good choices. Miller
yeah,
probably a good choice, but tough to give it to somebody who just came in at the middle of the year last year. But then again, we developed him, so I see what you're saying.
yeah. I mean, he also did have a good quote, a couple weeks ago. It's a lost art in giving a shit.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm paraphrasing because I forgot the actual word for word quote,
That's a
but
lot right there.
oh yeah, that does say a lot. I mean, he literally comes in. I mean, granted, all the locker room problems were too much to ignore, and there was just too much bullshit around the team. But like, he comes in, he just put his head down, got to work.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've said it in the group chat, we'll say it here now. It, this core got spoiled because of a miraculous run 3 years ago, and all their, you know, they're basing every game off of that. Meanwhile, they haven't earned shit.
See if they can figure it out.
If it wasn't for Igor, they wouldn't have been in either conference final. I'm just putting that out there. Just putting that out there. But all right, I think I've gotten enough off my chest for now. Do you have anything to add?
I don't. I think we went long today, like
Yeah.
2.5 hours. No, that was a good one. It was good to give our predictions, and hopefully I can just put the Rangers out of my mind for a few months.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I in the meantime, we got the NFL draft next week.
Yeah,
So I got something to look forward to in New
yeah.
York sports.
See how
Uh
the Jets fuck it up again.
yeah, please just please don't. I'm so also if Justin Fields sucks this season, I'm gonna lose my mind.
What pisses me off? That Mekhi Becton decided to do nothing with us and then went to Philadelphia and won a Super Bowl.
Hmm. He wasn't great, by the way. Like I was watching Phillies playoff games. He was not great. Like he
Okay.
was the weak he
Okay.
was the weak link on the offensive line in all
That makes me
seriousness.
that makes me feel better. Okay.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to switch from left tackle and then he goes to Philly and they're just like you can either play guard or you cannot be on the team. And he just goes, "Okay, I'll listen now."
Well, no, he actually just signed with the Chargers.
Really?
Yeah, as an OT.
Hmm. Interesting. Well, I mean, that was his draft status. They probably just never changed that on NFL.com or whatever.
Yeah, true.
Uh Yep.
I'm looking forward to the draft. Should be fun.
Yeah, that should be fun. I don't think I'm working that night, so I can actually watch day one, which is gonna be fun. Hope the Jets pick a you know, good player. Good player.
Hopefully.
Yeah, seriously. But hey, Stanley Cup playoffs are gonna be fun. So,
Can't wait.
all right, I got nothing. So this has been Pucks and Brews, episode number 73. I have been your host. I don't even remember if I said this at the beginning of the episode. I have been your host, Michael Shade Sparacino, alongside always Liam, the Chell Master Godimer. Enjoy playoff hockey. Enjoy the NFL draft. Enjoy whatever the hell else you want to do in the meantime. And hope you enjoyed a drink of choice, whether it be alcohol, coffee, literally anything during the episode. And we'll be back after round one. So have fun, everyone.